Okay, guys, so before I get right into DadBook, just wanted to pause for a moment and just share some of my thoughts. Because now that we've met all of the dads, I just wanted to give just a quick observation about this game. One of the things that I absolutely applaud this game for, that was very surprised to see it do very well compared to most other dating sims that I've ever played, is the pacing. The pacing of this game has been executed phenomenally, especially because the game tries to take its time to establish not only yourself, not only the other characters, but the kids that are involved. And I'm not just talking about Amanda, but I'm talking about all of the other kids of the dads. This is such a unique dating sim in that normally you and the other candidates, when you're going to dating someone, you're only really focusing on one other person. But you basically are, kind of pairing yourself up with a set of people, the person that you're dating and their offspring, which is a really interesting dynamic. And I love how diverse all of the kids are, and I like how, I mean, all of the dads in of itself are extremely diverse. And I also like how diverse their children are, especially in terms of their relationship with their parents. Some of the kids are a little bit more estranged to their parents than others. Some of them are, a lot more, have arguably a closer relationship. Some dads have children that are a lot younger, some are a lot older, some have more than one kids. It's a really cool spectrum of kids. And I really like how they are spending time to really establish who all of these characters are, including your own character and your, as I said in the first episode, your background with yourself, your history with your child, who your child is, what your relationship is like with your daughter. Um, and they do all of that before they jump into all of the sexy times. Because, I think that dating sims are notorious about having the sex be the main focus of a dating sim, and that makes sense. Um, but I really like how so far it's been, it's sort of taken a back seat for a little bit, and I think that's really important. And I think that's a very mature take on the dating sim genre that I don't think I really get to see very often in any other dating sim. And again, it's just because of the fact that we are playing as dads. We tend to be a lot older than the main protagonists and the dates of other dating sims. Normally, you're playing the role of a character who is a lot younger, like a teenager, someone who's in their early 20s. They're a little bit, the hormones are, flowing a lot more intensely. Your characters tends to be a lot more boy crazy or girl crazy. Sex is on their mind, probably a little bit more, just because of all of those hormones flaring. And here, like, my character seems to notice that other dads are attractive, or maybe that they are interested in them, but it's a lot more mature, I find. It's not like, oh my gosh, that guy is so hot, or oh my gosh, I want that body so much. That tends to be a little bit more muted, and I can see more that the interest that my character is having is, there's aspects of it of, physical, attraction, but there's also attraction towards their personality too, which again, for a game like this, I think I've started seeing other players let's play of this game, and I find that it's really surprising how, for a game like this, you wouldn't think that the game like this takes itself too seriously. And yeah, I mean, it's still not a serious, intense game, but I'm just very amazed by how mature it takes the dating sim approach, and how it takes itself seriously in the sense that it's focusing a lot and putting a lot of investment in the storytelling, in the character development, in the character relationship development, and the like zesty, sexy times is either something that is not integral, at least at the beginning, and we'll probably see more of that maybe as the story progresses. But I think that's really natural. I think that's a more natural and organic way of doing it instead of just, hey, I met this guy or this girl just recently, and within the first whatever 15 minutes of gameplay, we're already making out at this, making out on my teacher's desk or my office, my boss's desk, or whatever your fantasy that you're trying to play. And I'm not knocking like dating sims games like that, because they're just fun. They're just guilty pleasures. You play them for fun. But I really like how they're taking their time and they're pacing this game well to really try to get you invested in what's going on, and not just see this as a game that, I'm just going to jump into bed with whatever character I want, and, it doesn't really matter to me what's going on with me and my kid or their kids. It's really refreshing, and it's something that I just wanted to point out, because I feel like that's probably an aspect of this game that many people might not appreciate right up front, or might not necessarily notice it up front, how mature this game is, and how it doesn't take itself too seriously, but for the things that it does take seriously, it's very effective. That's just one of the things I really wanted to say right off the bat. Okay, so we've got the dad book here. So let's start looking through all of these profiles of our eligible dads. Craig. I like Gregory a lot. Gregory. Craig Kahn, or Can. Dad of 3, business entrepreneur, and fitness enthusiast. Juggling work, family, and fitness is a tough gig, but someone's got to do it. On a Friday night, you are most likely to get one last cardio session in. If you had one thing to take with you onto a desert island, what would it be? A box of energy bars. What are your turn-ons? A sub 6-minute mile. What did you want to be when you grew up? Beer pong world champion. What is your favorite movie genre? Buddy cop movies forever. That's cute. What is your ideal date? Scaling a huge, dangerous mountain for fun. What do you never leave home without? An extra an extra tube. Excuse me. I was like, where is your mind going, Angel Hearts? Sorry, my apologies. An extra tube of energy gel. Excuse me. I spend a lot of time thinking about my mile time used to be so good. What happened? Have I peaked? Huh. Okay. Back. Matt Sella. Avid music enthusiast, passionate coffee drinker. You can find me most days selling bean juice over at the Coffee Spoon, or hanging out at the park with my amazing daughter. Hit me up about 80s no-wave music. On a Friday night, you're most likely to perfect my cold brew setup, one trip at a time, baby. If you had one thing to take with you onto a desert island, what would it be? Find tunes to pass the days away. What are your turn-ons? Multi-instrumentalism. What did you want to be when you grew up? A barista, weirdly enough. What's your favorite movie genre? Stuff with subtitles. What's your ideal date? We go to the animal shelter and seriously consider adopting a cat. That's adorable. What do you never leave home without? My headphones, both in-ear and over-ear, just in case. My husband has a huge collection of earphones, headphones, just because he needs to make sure he always is prepared with them. I spent a lot of time thinking about, where did writing commas into song titles come from, and where did it go? Did we all just agree that it's a bad idea? Okay. Brian. Hi, hey, I'm Brian. I spend most of my days... Brian Harding is his name. I like that name. I spend most of my days hanging out with my awesome daughter and thinking up new ways to grill things. If you like fishing, then we'll get along. On a Friday night, we are most likely to See just how slowly I can cook a piece of brisket. That's a big turn on for me. If you had one thing to take with you on a desert island, what would it be? My fishing pole. That's practical. What are your turn-ons? A keen understanding of steak cuts. What did you want to be when you grew up? Fireman. That's pretty hot. What's your favorite movie genre? Romantic comedies. What is your ideal date? Deck building. What do you never leave home without? My portable fishing pole. I spend a lot of time thinking about how my daughter is smarter than I am. That is so adorable. You can clearly tell he has such a great relationship with his child, and I think it's so sweet, so attractive. Robert, Uncle Jesse. Robert Small. When the internet gains sentience and decides to destroy us all, you'll know it. Use this information against us, right? You'll know it'll use this information against us. Oh, this is the conspiracy theory guy. On a Friday night, you're most likely to make a deal in an alleyway, have it go badly. Who's the cop? Was it Giacomo? I trusted Giacomo. If you had one thing to take with you on a desert island, what would it be? Gun. Again, practical. Not sure what you're going to do when your bullets are out, though. What are your turn-ons? Don't talk to me. What did you want to be when you grew up? A grifter. What is your favorite movie genre? Italian neorealism. What is your ideal date? Grave robbing? Interesting. What do you never leave home without? At least 4 knives. Practical. I spend a lot of time thinking about, do you ever really look into a rabid animal's eyes? Okay, Robert. Damien. Damien Blood March. How do you do? I have finally decided to join this information superhighway. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but I will try my best to understand. I love long strolls through graveyards and spending time with my son. If you would ever like to chat about the latest in Victorian fashion, the inevitability of our own demise, or black cats, please send me a letter. On a Friday night, you're most likely to listen to true crime podcasts while I taxidermy my newest specimens? Okay. If you had one thing to take with you onto a desert island, what would it be? A coffin. What are your turn-ons? Pronouncing bosom correctly. What did you want to be when you grew up? A bat. What is your favorite movie genre? Foreign art house horror. What is your ideal date? It's night. We are at an industrial dark wave club in Berlin. The music drums to the beat of our hearts. That's kind of sexy. What do you never leave home without? An upside down cross. Okay. I spend a lot of time thinking about mortality salience. Hugo. Hugo Vega. Middle school teacher, high school teacher, writer of scholarly articles on 18th century literature for various esteemed publications. If you're on here to tell me that my son put a cherry bomb in your trash, I know and I'm sorry. On a Friday night, you're most likely to brew some strong tea and paint my miniatures. If you had one thing to take with you onto a desert island, what would it be? A remembrance of things passed by Marcel Proust. What are your turn-ons? Muscles. Straight to the point. What did you want to be when you grew up? Movie star. That's pretty cool, Mr. Vega. What's your favorite movie genre? Documentaries on art history. What's your ideal date? Each of us read a different book on opposite sides of the couch in comfortable silence. That's kind of adorable, actually. What do you never leave home without? My glasses. Actually, I forget them at home a lot. I spend a lot of time thinking about, I worry that people who are against e-readers are more in love with the idea of books than actually reading them. Interesting. And last but not least, we have Joseph. Joseph Christensen, voted Maple Bay's #1 youth minister for 5 years running. Living in my hometown with my beautiful wife and 4 amazing kids. If I'm not in church, you can catch me out on the open water, setting sail on the seas of adventure. That's pretty cool. I love playing guitar and crushing my kids at Candyland. Oh, #1, he's a musician. Major brownie points there. #2, the fact that he likes board games. Again, many like brownie points there too, and mad respect for enjoying the Candyland. On a Friday night, you are most likely to lead the community in a fun mixer. I like that. I like that he's social. If you had one thing to take with you onto a desert island, what would it be? My 6 string. That's pretty sexy. What are your turn-ons? My loving wife. Well, we have to level talk about your wife, sir. What did you want to be when you grew up? A ship captain. What is your favorite movie genre? Feel-good movies. See, me too. I like feel-good movies. What is your ideal date? Lovely night on the town with my wife. What do you never leave home without? The good book. That makes a lot of sense. Makes perfect sense. I spend a lot of time thinking about how I can be a better man, husband, and father. This is I like Joseph a lot. My top three is definitely between Craig, because I like the whole idea that he's the guy that we've actually known from our past. He's actually used to be our roommate, a friend in college. So I kind of like the whole. I like the idea that this is someone that we've had some established relationship. We started out as friends, but now maybe we've started, seeing each other in a different way, and you know, something. Our relationship evolves. Brian he's just such a super sweet and cool guy. I love, love, love how he sees and treats his daughter. It is such a huge turn on. I find that really attractive when you are so proud of your child. And the fact that his child Daisy she seems to be well put together. Just the fact that she's so successful, I think says something about his parenting, and I think says something about how great of a dad he is. So, there's a little bit of course, there's a little bit of nature versus nurture, but I think a good amount, not all, but a good amount of why Daisy has turned out the way she is partly because of Brian, and I find that really attractive. So and plus he's a ginger. I mean, come on now. The other person, other member in my top three is definitely Joseph. First of all, Joseph there's just something really sexy about his personality. He's outgoing. He's like that all-American kind of dad kind of thing. I love the fact that he's a minister. Again, as somebody who I'm religious myself, and I find that's a part of me that I can relate to. I guess that's sort of, I don't know if my character is religious. That's the thing. So there's that separation between character and player. But at least for me, like, I kind of find that something that I could find some common ground with. It's something that isn't important to me. It is an aspect of my life that is important to me and that I do value. And I know that your mileage may vary. So the fact that Joseph is a youth minister, not just a minister, but a youth minister for kids, is again really, really attractive. And he seems really devoted to his wife. So this is why Joseph seems like such a double-edged sword, because I would never, ever, ever want to come between, like two people who are romantically involved, especially two spouses. I don't want to be a homewrecker. That's the last thing I would ever want to do, because I don't condone cheating or infidelity or anything like that. So that's one thing that is really why it's a little hard for me in character to, if my character does end up being interested in Joseph, that it would be difficult for me to pursue him knowing that he is married. Now, granted, it seems like his wife not only is terrible to him, but also terrible to his kids. That seems like a very volatile thing. And you can argue that it's probably for the best for them to separate and to split up. It's probably better for everybody, especially for the kids. If you're thinking about the well-being of the kids, it's probably best for them to just go their separate ways and to get divorced. But the problem is they're not divorced yet. They're not split yet. So there's that, awkwardness if I start hanging out with him, and then if I start trying to make advances towards him, it's like, he's a married man, and look at his profile. He's so devoted to his wife, and I don't want him to lose that faithfulness, lose that devotion. I would rather, before we pursued a relationship, that he officially broke things off with his wife first, if it wasn't working out with his wife, regardless of my character, regardless of me. So yeah, those are my top three. All the other characters are great. I think if I was to pick a distant fourth choice, it would be Robert, just because which really surprises me, because I think personality wise, Robert is he's a bit too forward, and he moves way too fast for my taste, and I don't like a lot of his, like, I guess, life philosophies, but he's got the ruggedly good looks, and that's the only reason why he's, like, sort of semi-fourth on my list. He's sort of like the Sam. He's the Sam on my Sam from Seduce Me, if you ever played Seduce Me. So, who do I want to hang out with first? I really do. I feel like my favorite is Joseph. Joe is my favorite, not only personality-wise, but physically, he's definitely my type. He looks a little bit like Cullen, kind of. Doesn't he kind of look like Cullen? So, can I put hearts? Oh, I can't put hearts. What are these hearts for? Do they fill up somehow? Can I message him? Oh, okay. I just messaged him, and okay, are we typing him a message? Dad tip number 78. Try not to make assumptions about people. His family's a little weird, but Joseph seems cool. I should take him up on his offer to hang out. Wait, how do I hang out with a priest? I don't go to church. Should I be Jesus-y? I imagine Joseph's family staring at me as I fumble through some sort of prayer attempt. Maybe not too Jesus-y. A light smattering of Jesus. Will he want me to pray? Is he going to pray at me? Do I have to pray at him? Okay, so this is the part. It's cute. I'm not taking this dialogue too seriously, but I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm not offended. I'm not offended by it, but I'm sort of like, you've got sort of like the wrong misconception. Just because somebody is religious doesn't mean that they're gonna necessarily want to impose that on you or expect you to be Jesus-y or expect you to pray at all at them or otherwise. Just, you know, my husband's an atheist. My husband's an atheist, so I mean, you know, as long as you just be yourself, don't worry about, you know, whether or not if that person loves you, they're not gonna judge you, they're not gonna expect you to necessarily believe the exact same things that you believe. Now, granted, a relationship can definitely be stronger if you share the same belief systems. It makes a lot of sense, right? If you share the same belief systems, if you share a lot of the same values, and values doesn't have to have anything to do with religion. You don't have to be religious or spiritual to have the same values. I think that's the important thing. As long as you have the same values, regardless of religion, I think that's key. Now, obviously, if you can share religion, because a lot of people's religion is tied to their values, that's great. It's amazing. It's awesome. I think that's ideal, but it's not necessary. So, talking to Joseph, huh? Gah! Amanda, how many times have I told you not to sneak up on me like that? I selectively ignore it every time you do, Pops. Her eyes are a little puffy, almost as if she'd been crying. Oh, why are you crying, hun? Hey, are you doing okay there, kiddo?
I'm fine.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, of course, I'm fine. I just started thinking about how there are a bunch of people who still don't think aliens exist, and it's bumming me out. What? Like, space is so infinitively huge. Just because you can't conceive it doesn't mean it can't exist. And I understand the Fermi paradox, but to completely write off aliens? There's so much stuff we just don't know. You're tearing up over that, dear. Oh, okay. I'll be okay. I'm glad. But aliens are definitely out there, and I hope they'll one day be my friends. Maybe some Masari, maybe some Elcor. I would love for some Elcor to be my friend. Are you sure that's all you're upset about? You have to tell me what's actually wrong. Remember how I used to be afraid of aliens? I'm gonna be sincere and genuine, as much as I like to joke around. Are you sure that's all you're upset about? If there's, anything going on, I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and I'll always be here for you. Whether you need a shoulder to cry on, or a strong dad to go kick someone's butt, I'm only a phone call away.
Huh.
Thanks, Popsicle. I appreciate that. But I'm fine, really. I'm unconvinced, but I'll stop badgering her about it. I'm sure she'll tell me when she's ready. Amanda looks over my shoulder at the screen. Joseph can't read your mind, you know. If you want to talk, just message him. But I've never been friends with a priest before. What do I talk about? My favorite biblical passage? Ice cream socials? Khakis? Oh my goodness. Come on, man. The stereotypes. Oh, this is... Again, the stereotypes are like so cringy for me right now. It's okay. I understand. I get it. I understand. But it's a bit cringy. First of all, he's youth minister. He's a youth minister with a tattoo, not a priest. There's a difference.
Ugh.
You're overthinking it, Dad. Listen, just put it like this.
Ugh.
Hello, neighbor. Thanks again for the invite to the barbecue. I'd love to hang out soon if you're not too busy. Isn't that a little too business casual? Fine, fine. Give me the keyboard. I got this. Oh boy, here we go. Amanda focuses on the keys. Hi, Joseph. It was great meeting you and your family. I'm still new around here, so if you'd like, I'd love to hang out and get to know you. See ya. The smiley is a nice touch. Almost immediately, I receive a response. Wow. Really? What'd he say? Hi, Hark. If you're not doing anything in a bit, the kids and I are baking treats for the church bake sale today. I love baking! Oh, that's so cute. I love baking with the kids. I have some little cousins on my husband's side that we've gone. And I don't know if you know, but my biggest hobbies is making homemade ice cream. And I like to make ice cream flavors that you can't get at a store. You know, some of my favorites are like goat cheese ice cream with roasted berries. It tastes a lot like cheesecake. My brown sugar candied bacon ice cream is the bomb. Don't knock it till you try it. I've lately started doing a lot of ice cream based on cereals, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch ice cream, Fruity Pebbles ice cream, Lucky Charms ice cream, and, you know, some hard ice creams like Bailey's ice cream I did for, you know, St. Patrick's Day and things like that. So I taught my little cousins how to make their own ice cream flavors, and it was so much fun. I just remembered something like that I kind of relate to in real life. We'd love to have you over. It'll be a blast, so let me know. Joseph. Huh. Oh, that wasn't so bad. He uses a lot of exclamation points. I find that really adorable. I'm more concerned about him signing his name with a tilde. I'm willing to let it slide this time.
Oh.
I respond back. Sounds like fun. Tilda, Park. No smiley face? Great, come on by the house as soon as you're ready. We'll be here. Well, I guess I'm doing this. Save a brownie for me? Promise you won't sneak up on me anymore? Amanda stares at me unblinking. I don't make promises I can't keep. Real to a fault, Pops. Fair enough. And Dad, please don't be weird about the religion thing. Yes, please. Please, Daddy Hark, do not be weird about the religion thing. Don't be awkward about it. Just be respectful. Me? Weird? Never. I make the short walk over to Joseph's place. Don't be weird, Hark. But what if they hang up a bunch of crosses or collect those little porcelain babies? What if they're all praying? Do they pray before dinner? During dinner? Over the porcelain babies? Oh my goodness. Oh, it hurts so much. It hurts reading this dialogue. I get it. I feel like most people, I think the majority of people can probably relate to this. You know, I don't know. I feel like I'm just very comfortable about religion in general. Not just my own religion, but anybody's religion. Like, you just go in. If you see them doing something, you know, be respectful of it. If it seems like that you can join in, respect them and join in on it. If you have questions, ask them questions respectfully. You know, it's like, I love learning about different people's faiths and belief systems and religions. And I think just the fact that I have been the kind of person who's not afraid to ask questions, and isn't afraid to really actually genuinely care about other people's spirituality and belief systems, that I'm just super comfortable on the topic, that I can go to somebody's house who might have a religious belief that I don't share and be perfectly cool. Just be cool. Don't worry about it. I don't. I'm a Catholic. I don't expect you to, you know, start praying the Hail Mary like just out of the blue. I mean, I'm not going to sit down with you and say, "Hey, let's do the Rosary together." I mean, that's not how it works most of the time. And I feel like most, at least I'm a Christian, so I can only speak for, you know, other Christians, even though there's so many different Christians out there. There are so many different types of Christians. I think many Christians feel the same way. Like, just be cool. It's all right. Just be cool. Don't worry about it. Just be yourself.